The records are now open. Welcome everyone. Come on in while I create some sacred space here in my office, like getting a little Palo Santo going here for us. And I don't always do it the right way. I'm doing it the right way today. They say the right way to light it is off of another open flame, not a lighter. So come on in, say hello once you get here. We are going to do live Akashic Record laser readings today, as well as bring through transmissions from your Akashic Records. And I'm going to do a little speed training here as we get started. So welcome, come on in, say hello once you get here. And everyone who is familiar with this space, I like to start with an opening exercise of sharing where Steve Vasquez Sr. What's up, Steve? Good to see you, my friend. See, that's why you want to say hello when you get here, although Steve didn't really say hello to me, but I watch who's watching and who's out there. Here's the really cool thing. When you share where you're tuning in from, I invite you to be in reciprocity for the value that you receive here today. Do your part and anchor the energy wherever you are showing up from on the planet. It's so powerful when we begin to visualize and see and experience this bigger expression of consciousness as it's being anchored here on the planet. So I'm going to invite you to do your job, let us know where you're from, and begin to visualize these points of light all over the planet where we are anchoring consciousness. Before we get started today, I'm going to give you 3 really quick potent tips on how you can begin to harness more magic to reinvent yourself, because the cosmic energies are highly aligned and attuned to support you right now. So I want to make sure you have the support that you need. And as always here on Akashic Answers with Emily, we're going to get super magical. Tap into the Akashic field of infinite awareness. Every detail of your past, present, all possible futures available for you to access. So any area of your life that you would like guidance, clarity, insight, please type your questions in and we will do some group readings and activations here. So if you are new, I'm Emily Harrison, founder, director of the Akashic Academy. My area of expertise is in the Akashic Records, and my mission here on the planet is to return this technology of human access to instantaneous, infinite intelligence. Okay, when I say infinite intelligence, I'm talking about the God mind. I'm talking about the level of consciousness that allows us to experience ourselves in our life from a perspective of unconditional love and zero judgment, which is not how you humans, and me human too, oops, let me lean back in the frame, are experiencing life. We're experiencing it through a human perspective, which is polar, just like the planet we are on, north-south pole, hold the whole thing in place. So it's really important that we learn how to shift our consciousness to tap into this higher level of genius and perspective, because we're very limited. As we're powerful, we've got amazing skills as human beings. We are some of the most potent creators and engineers in the entire galaxy. What's up, Rhonda Elliott? But our perspective is limited. So the Akashic Records allow us to reconnect our infinite awareness, which, trust me, is a game changer. And I'm going to give you 3 more game changers, okay, that are current to the energy right now. So as we are going into the winter solstice 2020, prepping for 2021, we are being invited to create. So I'm going to invite you to get inspired to create. What aspect of your life does it feel like needs a reinvention that you can give your creative energy, you can create spaciousness in, so that you can bring a higher level of creativity to reinvent. Right now, we are receiving light codes that are activating our DNA, and whatever projects you work on, whatever you create right now will be infused with the same expansion that you're getting currently from the light codes. So it's a great time to create. All of those powerful templates of your expansion will naturally be infused into whatever project you're working on. So especially energy healers, entrepreneurs, spiritual thought leaders, if you're creating courses, if you're creating businesses, if you're up-leveling your programs and services and how you want to show up in 2021, good for you. This is the time. Get really specific and focused around that, because the universe is going to support you extremely profoundly right now, okay? The second thing that I want all of you powerhouses here, all of you visionaries to be aware of is your thoughts. Be hyper aware of your thoughts right now, because your thoughts are affecting your future. They're creating and manifesting your future. Here's the catch, that we're also doing a lot of timeline collapsing and healing and clearing right now. So how do you keep a high vibe? Because it's so important to keep a high vibe right now. How does one keep a high vibe through clearing? I was going through that this weekend. I had a lot of emotional energy coming up, a lot of sadness, anger, a lot of frustration from what feels like old patterns in my life. So how did I bring a high vibe to this? Well, first of all, I had to have awareness. I'm like, oh shit, Emily. Girl, what you been thinking about? What you been doing for the past hour? Found myself moping around a little bit. And you know what's interesting? When we step back and begin to observe our patterns, many of you know, like I've been going through like a huge relationship transition and shifting in my life over the past 18 months now. When this energy comes up and you are managing in the moment and you become aware that you are in old memory, in old thought patterns, you got to have a pattern interrupt. For me, I've been doing the work long enough. I'm like, ooh, why do I feel like shit? Oh, because I've been in this headspace for the past hour. All right, Emily, your thoughts are creating reality. Let's shift here. And it's nice and smooth like that. But only because I've practiced that skill over and over and over and over and over again. And so then I begin to, rather than allow myself to be in the state of the density of what it looks like when you go through relationship transitions, you know what I'm saying? To be in a space of gratitude for every moment, for every aspect of all of my intimate relationships. And once I made that shift, I went back into a high vibe. And yeah, I was still, in essence, moving through some grief. But I was doing it from a space of gratitude and a space of appreciative reflection. And it felt way the fuck better. Pardon my French. But it was... But it felt heavy in the moment until I was able to see it and make the shift, okay? So the second one is be hyper aware of your thoughts in every moment. And if you are clearing and collapsing and shifting old timelines right now, and that's an emotional experience for you as a human, I get it. How do you stay high vibe while you're in there? Well, you see as soon as you are in a mopey ass stage and you got to flip it and give yourself a new story, okay? The third point is to invite ease. Invite ease into your life. Just remember, ease is a choice. Suffering is optional. What better time to create a template in your life than going into what can be intense and crazy and heightened energy? Please leave it behind this holiday season. Okay? And invite ease. As soon as you recognize there's allowance or resistance in this giant cosmic energy field of well-being, this cosmic river that flows, the etheric field that's available to all of us, you have two choices. You can allow it, you can get in the flow of it. That's the same choice. That's the same one. Or you can resist it. So break it down and let it be that easy. Okay, invite ease by having a more acute awareness of where you can release resistance in your life. It might be a physical resistance, it might be an emotional resistance, it might be a thought resistance. Okay? All right, so those are the three quick energy tips that I wanted to give you to harness this most powerful cosmic energy that is at hand right now. We are moving into incredible gateways. First one is get creative. Get inspired to get creative. If you're not creative, if you're not inspired, you got to find your inspiration. You got to dig it up. Go dancing or something, okay? No excuses. Find it. You know what you like to do. You know what inspires you. Go do it. Second, be hyper aware of your thoughts because they're creating in every moment. Part B to that one is if you're collapsing timelines and you're finding it harder to be high vibe and pay attention to your thoughts, you got to give yourself some kind of a pattern interrupt and a plan to shift when you notice that you're in that space. Okay? And the third one is to invite ease. Invite ease. Especially as we go into this creation time and as we go into 2021 and we're receiving these light codes. It's a big deal as a human to process this, so please invite ease into your life. Okay? All right, so we're going to dive in and get some questions here. Type in your questions, type in areas where you want insight on your life. If you are a regular member to this space, please, you know it's going to be good. Share this out. If you're new, I'll remind you to share again at the end, maybe. But you can at least test it out. I don't want you to share it if you don't think it's good. But those of you guys who know it's about to get good up in here, please share this out. Type in your questions. I'm going to come find you all here on my laptop because I think I'm 43. I lose track. If I find myself squinting just a little bit, you'll see the gray hairs there when I move my hair the right way. Lori, I can see Lori's. Lori says, I am new. Well, welcome, Lori. I'm glad you're here. All right, pulling up here. I'm going to grab some questions and let's dive in. Come on, computer. Mackie Poo's taking her sweet time. Hang on. Becky, I see you. Hi, Lori. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Jolie. All right, come on, stinking. I thought I had this all set up to be smooth and my laptop is not showing me comments. All right. Oh, there we go. Oh, thank you. See, right when I was ready to surrender and lean in and do the scroll for you guys, it came up. All right. Scrolling through, looking for areas of, I can tune in and bring you guys insight. Okay. Miss Jolie, my emotions are all over the place, feeling super alone. I love my life right now, so I don't know what's happening to me. Oh, well, Miss Jolie, sounds like you and I are experiencing some of the same things. Yeah, I feel like when I share my personal experience of what's coming up, that's what's coming up is we're experiencing the collapse of old timelines. And if we have areas where we tend to be extremely sensitive, we'll either feel those sensitivities alive in our field or we will feel them empathetically for other people. And so it makes sense to me that you've got emotions coming up, and it makes sense to me that you love your life right now. I can't tell you how many times this morning in particular, I have just walked around my whole life, even from running to get my kids set up for their morning homeschool sessions before my 8 a.m. client, and doing things like literally running around making sure that their aromatherapy candles are all lit. And I thought, how cool is it that this is my life and that my kids love their aromatherapy energy candles because they know they support the process. It's so fun. All right, so Jolie, I feel that that's really what's coming up for you. So I feel the guides also wanting to bring forward, wanting to get that hair out of my lip gloss, and wanting to bring forward an activation for those of you who are, and this is everybody, currently collapsing timelines. Hi, Bonnie, and hi, Terry, and hi, Tracy. Okay, so let's see. Let me just tune in and feel out about what the guides specifically want to address around collapsing timelines. Okay, I feel like the guides, okay, we've got actually really high powerful have powerful guides coming in, known as the Ascended Master Melchizedek, the Great Magician, Saint Germain. That energy coming in, wanting to speak on alchemy and the collapse of timelines. So as a timeline collapses, there is, to put it in human terms, there is debris in the field. You can think of it as, in the stages of alchemy, stage 1 is catalyst or an explosion or an event that causes an opportunity for immediate shift in the time-space continuum. Boom, when that happens, there's debris, there's dust, there's energy that comes up. If you are currently in that, the second phase of alchemy is when those pieces begin to settle, all of the dust, the debris begins to settle. And you can clearly see the dense energy, the bullshit at the bottom, your solution, your midpoint energy, the etheric energy. You see what you're working with, and then the truth, the essence, rises to the top. The essence is the lesson or the karmic lesson that needs to be learned from the whatever the timeline collapse is. Then you take the essence, that lesson, you take it off, and then we move this other stuff aside, and then we begin working and alchemizing with that essence. So for those of you who are in timeline collapse right now, recognize that if you are in the debris stage where things are settling and you need to be present for this time, not a time to make decisions, but a time to just observe and witness. And then once the pieces identify themselves, the dents, the bullshit at the bottom, this is like my bullshit self-sabotage. You got to see yours first. It can't just be the other person's bullshit self-sabotage, okay? That's the dense stuff, your issues, your karmic patterns. Then there's all the other pieces of the reality that you're experiencing. You see them more clearly. And then you see the essence, the lesson. That's the karma. Karma is an unlearned lesson. And you extract that, and then you begin asking, how can I work with embodying and moving through this lesson? Just working with the essence of the lesson, not all the other bullshit that's confuses us to see what the lesson even is. Okay, so this is an activation for your inner alchemist. It's working particularly in the third eye, and lots of that indigo and purple energy coming in. See if you can tune in and just feel how the energies are present for you in the third eye right now. You might feel pressure, you might feel a vortex, you might feel spinning, you might see purple. You might be D, none of the above, which is fine too. But notice what you notice. Powerful activation now happening. Moving through some of the other systems of the body to connect now. It's not just concentrated in the third eye anymore. It's moving throughout the different energy systems in the body. Connecting some circuitry. Good, nice deep breath in. Pause at the top for this reset breath. We're in the space in between here, in this pause. Relax into it if you can, and then a nice slow exhale. Okay, good. All right, so for those of you who are just joining, that was an activation to activate your inner alchemist, along with an explanation so you understand how the process is working with timelines collapsing, and how you can show up to these first stages of alchemy. Truthfully, we talked about 2.5 stages of alchemy there, and there are 7 of them. So if that lights you up and you need to know more about alchemy, you can reach out to me privately on Facebook. I will share with you that it's very advanced. Alchemy is a very high level skill, and I only work with breaking down the exact ways to alchemize situations in our life with my very high level students. Okay? Because it's powerful. You can mess some people up with this shit. And going through the self-purification process and the alignment to a soul-driven mission to impact the planet for the highest good is a must before we dive into those higher level spiritual skills. But if you are interested, you're likely a part of that lineage So reach out to me and we can talk about what it'll take to get you there. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, Jolie. I'm going to keep scrolling here. Type in your questions. Type in your questions if you're just now coming in. I tell you, we're not going to get to all the questions today, but just typing in your questions is magical. You're in my Akashic High Priestess office, my sanctuary, my oracle den. Just bringing the presence, the invitation of wisdom in areas where you're seeking guidance, it'll drop in your life. Okay? I'm holding a space that it will drop in here for you. And many times, exactly what you need will drop in through the channeling and the addressing of someone else's question. So if I am addressing someone else's question and it resonates within your being, then please receive the message for you personally. It is for you. All right. Terry, so there is another arbitrations like we had more than 10 years ago. I'm not fully following. I'm going to scroll and see if there's any more information. All right, Terry, if you want to share a little more information about that. Spirit brought my attention to that, but I don't know what you're talking about. So you guys share a little more with me, okay? Let's see here. I'm going to Namrata. I am leaning in on this one because I'm really drawn. Okay, here we go. Now I see it on my screen here. Namrata, how are you? I think I've been drawn to your question before because I remember feeling that. Am I pronouncing your name right? I hope I'm not butchering it. All right, you've been working on the chakras and activation of Kundalini energies. So how does this help with that process? That's a fantastic question. So first of all, thank you for not only working on these activations and understandings of the chakras and the Kundalini energies for yourself, but doing that for the entirety of the planet. We need this kind of specific genius right now. What the Akashic Records does is it allows you to tap into the realm of universal intelligence. In this lifetime, we come in with certain passions, with certain areas of curiosity and excitement, and it sounds like yours are, and this is how we know, is like, what am I excited to learn about? What am I excited to study? What am I excited to unlock more intelligence around? So the fact that you've been working on this, Namrata, it tells me that your soul has I was going to say a history, but you'll understand because we're outside of time and space. It's not really history. It's like access to the data bank that holds higher level intelligence, understanding your chakras and understanding Kundalini energy and how it all works together. And the records also allow you to tap an expanded level of creativity and zone of genius in that particular area. So you may well unfold new knowledge and understanding and new ways to use and run those energies here on the planet that haven't been conceptualized before. So you're basically imagining and inventing as you go. And what the records does is the records supports the the behind the scenes intelligence. So you understand what it is you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're supposed to use it. Without those, without that intelligence, I'll be honest with you, I find that light workers and visionaries, you're going to stumble onto it eventually because the energy is just moving too fast right now. And eventually you're going to get there. The records shortens our time frame of how long it takes us to get there because we have the handbook at our fingertips. It's like you can see into the future, which makes it nice. The other thing the records does is it energetically supports us in the areas where we're still self-sabotaging and taking longer to get where we need to go in life. You may damn well know what your mission is, but you may still be dealing with really deep issues of being afraid to fully be authentic and self-expressed. Because someone laughed at your ass when you were, who knows why? Million reasons why, right? So the records not only support calling forward the highest timeline of what we're here to do and like give us the intelligence and the perception to do it more easily and with more awareness and with more relentless self-belief. I talk about that a lot. But it also doesn't allow us to bullshit ourselves anymore. It's like the records, okay, this isn't just for Namrata, this is for everybody, all right? Let me ask you this. Does the idea of people knowing everything about you and all of your business, does that bug you? I'm over it. Okay? Once we all have access to the same intelligence, there will be no lying to each other about anything. Okay? We're just gonna all have to be human and accept ourselves for who we are. It's just that easy. But it starts, and we gotta get comfortable with not being able to lie to ourselves or sabotage ourselves or have hidden subtle reasons why we're getting in our own way. No more ignorance. It's like ignorance has got to go on the planet. And that's what the records does, is it banishes our ignorance. If you choose. It gives you the, okay, I'll say this. It gives you the option to banish your ignorance. For a while, you will still be human and you will get triggered, and your Akashic Records will tell you exactly how to be the higher self human, and you'll say, yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna be mad for a minute. And that's okay. That's okay. But you will have the choice, and you will know what you need to do to move out of any situation in your life. Okay, I feel like for some reason, I'm not exactly clear yet, but Namrata, this is for you and everybody else who wants to receive this activation. Guides want to do an activation of the vagus nerve. Like I said, I don't know why yet. Let me see why. First of all, okay, so they're just saying give some intelligence about the vagus nerve, so I will. All right, so the vagus nerve is this gigantic nerve that runs from the brainstem down into the heart. It is directly connected to your parasympathetic nervous system. So you have a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system. I look at the nervous system as like the voltage that's running through the tissue of my body, based on my emotions, my thoughts, reactions, adrenaline, hormones, all kinds of shit. Okay, so you have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Sympathetic keeps you in fight or flight, which you don't want to be there too often, okay? If you spend, the guys are saying right now, if you spend more than 3% of your day in fight or flight, you gotta work on that. That's what they said. I don't know, I just heard that. I might have a little work to do myself after that one. I don't know if I spend more than 3% of the day in fight or flight. That'll be interesting to examine. But if you spend more than 3% of your day in fight or flight, your sympathetic nervous system is overactivated. So what we want to do is we want to activate the vagus nerve and get more energy flowing through the vagus nerve, which activates your parasympathetic nervous system. Which means your ass like this all day. It's that euphoric, relaxed, present state of flow where even though you're like, right, you're hammocking there, you can act with the highest level of intelligence at a moment's notice. How about that? All right, I'll activate that with you. So for Namrata and everyone else who wants to receive this activation, please say yes. And to receive it, just join along and do the breath pattern. Okay, to activate the vagus nerve, it's very simple. You just exhale longer than your inhale. So let's breathe in through the nose, fill the lungs all the way up. Gentle pause at the top of the breath. Rest into that pause. That's a magical place of 0 point resistance. Nice slow exhale now. I'm going to go out my mouth through pursed lips, meaning like I'm breathing through a straw. Because I really just want my lips to look sexy. No, I'm just kidding. Not really, though. You can breathe out through your nose, too, if you want. Nice, slow exhale. Exhale longer than the inhale. wringing out all the air in the lungs, pausing at the bottom if you can, now breathing back in. Slow it down too. See how slow and drawn out you can make it. Relax into it at the top. Relax the shoulders, relax the neck, relax the face. Exhale. One more nice deep breath in. Get really reverent with yourself here in this pause. Call forward everything that is in your highest and best good, and call up the self-courage to make that actionable, nice, slow release. Ooh, that was a good one. Thank you for that one. I'm to thank you, and everyone else here who's here, thank you. Okay, let's see. What time is it? 10:32. All right, I'm going to grab one more question quickly here. Trina Miller, how do I continue to move forward, run my business, and use my Akashic Records and energy healing when my teacher stole money out of my account and refused my certification when I completed it? So now I'm more confused than before. I don't open my records anymore after what she did. I'm sorry. Trina, I'm sorry that was your experience. Steve Vasquez, you're welcome. Mwah, thank you for being here, my friend. Has anybody ever been let down by a mentor before? I definitely have. I've also, not a lot, but I've been a mentor who's been a human up against my own edge and let my community down before. I call myself out when I do it because, like I said, the Akashic Records doesn't allow me to bullshit myself. I hear that both of you and your mentor Trina, have the Akashic Records lineage, and I'm sorry, I can't speak to that because that's not my lineage. And not the way that I share experience with my clients and my students. And we're all humans showing up doing the best we can, and I believe that there are lessons in every single relationship, every experience, and sometimes the lessons just don't look the way we think they look. So I would invite you to, Trina, get clear on what the soul lesson was there for you. I will say that here's what I'm finding that is shifting, because everything is shifting, okay? And this is what's shifting. This is a great conversation. This is what's shifting in the nature of the field of consciousness. Because yes, we are bringing in ancient wisdom and ancient knowledge and ancient technology, yet we're adapting it and we need to understand it in new paradigms, okay? The old paradigm, even in spirituality, these kind of conversations or these kind of passing down of teachings was hierarchical. And it was established like this, right? In order to break the hierarchy, there are going to be some students and teachers, who, energetic ones, okay? I had just this mild little thing with my teacher when I learned to read the Akashic Records. It was pretty mild, though. I have heard experiences that have been more extreme, but what I find is this is an example of an old timeline collapsing. And in order to collapse it with consciousness, there are certain ones of us who have chosen to go through and experience it, and to, like, your higher soul is called to examine this from a higher perspective and to bring it full circle to see, where did you fuck it up? Where did they fuck it up? How can you forgive? What can you see? How can you collapse this timeline? Because it needs that witness, and it needs that, like, in order to truly collapse timelines, we as human beings must embody it, and then move through it. Ooh, I don't like this, but similar to Jesus on the cross. Yeah, I don't like that story. It's very violent. I don't like it that they did that to him. I don't know. And so many parts of the story too are skewed. That story's always really agitated me though. I don't like it. I don't like violence. I think Quentin Tarantino is a fabulous filmmaker, but his stories are too violent. And I spend a lot of time covering my eyes. Okay? But if we were to take that collective story of the importance of Jesus dying on the cross for the purpose of no longer having to sacrifice animals. We're just looking at that part of the story, okay? He was, for our sins, he was the ultimate sacrifice. Now, I know there's much bigger picture. I'm telling a little bitty part of the story that comes from what's that game that you tell? Whisper? Telephone? That comes through the telephone lines of however it showed up in modern religion, okay? But you guys know the idea I'm talking about, right? Jesus, who is an ascended master, had to incarnate in a physical expression of humanism, had the experience, move through it his own damn self to collapse the timeline. We're in essence doing the same thing, hopefully for you, and it's not. Or you wouldn't be here on social damn media, okay? I'm not saying that it's not at a life or death point, it may be. But it's not at that critical stage. It's like we've milded it down, we've diluted it down. So instead of one dude having to show up and go through that hideous experience, we're all taking little bits of the puzzle and we're collapsing it in our own lives. Does this make sense? 33 people when I talked about Yeshua. Right on, that's cool. Okay. All right, so let's bring in one more activation. Let's bring in the energy of forgiveness. Ho'oponopono for everybody, okay? Oh, I also wanted to say, I wanted to speak to this, Trina. Here's another thing. And this might be the key for you, my dear. And that is, when you take on the call, you answer the call to your soul to be a healer. Probably refuse the call once or twice. Some people come into this space and do that. They feel it and they refuse the call. It's fine. It's part of the journey. But once you accept the call, you agree to show up and to facilitate transformation. And it doesn't always look like rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes it creates a situation that requires a high level of consciousness to come to the table and to unravel and be willing to forgive and be willing to neutralize, even though you're highly charged. Sometimes you'll show up in someone else's field and you won't mean to, but you'll really piss them off and you'll trigger them. You'll be tempted to feel bad about it. I'm going to invite you to realize, okay, maybe I did show up as an asshole here. But what the ripple I created is inviting intelligence in that person's field. Wendy says guilty, okay? All right, so let's do one more activation for forgiveness. I'm gonna invite you to put your hands over your heart. And let's just do some like gentle rhythmic tapping. And we're gonna ho'oponopono together. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. Nice deep breath in. Release with an exhale, a sound. Ah. Yeah. Thank you everyone for being here today. All right. So now I'm going to remind you to share again. If you got value out of today's experience, please take a moment, share out this broadcast. It's one of the most powerful things that we can do to help each other keep high vibes during this time of collective timeline collapse. So I'm glad that you're here. If you came in late, there is a super powerful and potent short training at the very beginning of this. So I will invite you to check out the replay to make sure you get those 3 tips on how to harness the energies right now to reinvent yourself at the most powerful level. David Vega, I see you. And good to see you all. Thank you for being here. For those of you who feel like you want to cultivate something more masterful this winter season and you resonate with this broadcast and you want to explore what is possible, shoot me a private message here on Facebook. There are opportunities right now, whether you are looking for some support, maybe you're looking for more free resources. Awesome, we have them. You might be looking for a deeper dive into business reinvention or course creation within your Akashic Records. I'm going to be extending the Black Friday deals to Christmas as Christmas presents. So if you need extra support, you got to reach out to me, private message on Facebook. Let me know what's up in your field. I will point you in the right direction. Thank you all for being here. Namaste.